you try to stop any air changes because you circulate it inside. Now,
circulation rate.
Yeah, circulation rate, okay. But let me, since you mentioned that, I'll also mention the ventilation. You have seen the windows, which I just showed here. Those windows are required to ventilate the place because we do not need to increase the percentage of CO2 inside the room. We have a sensor which senses the CO2 level within the room because it is harmful to the potato and onion. And we need to keep the oxygen at a certain level. Therefore, we measure both of them. And when the CO2 level comes to a certain reading, automatically you override the model which you have seen now, and it will open the windows. Now, we have what we call ventilation fans, okay? The ventilation fans or circulation fans, which you said, the circulation fans at the bottom of the tunnel at the bottom, they have windows that can work with 100% circulation, so it closes the wooden window which you have seen, or at the very beginning when I said you bring it from the farm, dump it and immediately circulate the air without air conditioning or without cooling. So what we do, we make it 100% fresh air. It sucks and it throws outside, okay? So the fan can take 100% fresh air and can take 100% circulation and can take in the middle. How we decide the number of ventilation or the opening level inside? We check the CO2 level through the sensor and we start operating. Now, when the level of the CO2 goes down, it shuts down. So this is understood as automatic operation. But for your second question and part of the first question, which is the pressure drop, as you said, through the pile, this is number one. And also, suppose for any reason I want to know how much air I need to circulate, I want to size my fans. So if I have this room 1,000 tons, how do I decide how many cubic meters I need? If you go to Ashri, you will find all these figures. The potato normally, it depends on the variety and the country and the temperature, but you need about 80 to 120 cubic meter per hour air circulation per ton of potato store. Okay? The onion is almost double that. Some varieties of onions need about 300 cubic meter per ton of onion, but mostly they go to 200, 250 in our area because the air is very hot. In Holland, which is one of the biggest countries using this, they go much more because their country is very cold compared to this. How much is the pressure drop? This is something you cannot calculate, but you have it in reference box by experiments. You do not need to do the experiments yourself, but you will find that this is, but normally we design it at about, when I select the fan, a maximum of 150 Pascal. How you can measure it actually is very simple. You bring the YouTube, and I do it on every cold store I do. YouTube costs nothing, right? Just what is 150 Pascal, how much is the height? That is only the glass I use, and after that I use flexible hose. And I put one at the bottom and put one on the top. And I measure the difference. It's normally below 100 Pascal. It's 80, 70 if the pile is low. If it depends also on the size of the potato or onion. If the dish is big, the pressure drop is very low. If the dishes are very small, then there are no lot of cavities, so the pressure drop goes high. But the maximum you expect is 150 Pascal.
Yes. Judging by your discussion and the complications of storage and harvesting and the technology, it looks like, this is a classic opportunity for multinationals to actually squeeze out the small farmer. Because, to be realistic, the small farmer doesn't have access to the kind of funds or the expertise, unless it is government funded in terms of refrigeration for grapes and for bananas. I mean, then you end up with banana republics. Multinationals will squeeze out the small farmers and the pricing then driven and decided by multinationals. Am I correct in the assumption?
100%, 100%. Chiquita, everyone knows Chiquita. Because they are the biggest name in banana, and you are correct on the problem of potato and onion, which must be on every table, every minute. Onions and potatoes around the world, no matter whom you are. And it is true that there are the mafia of the market on banana, on potato and onions, unless the government interferes. The government normally doesn't interfere directly by giving you support, but if you make an association, like what happens, my experience in the Gulf area in Saudi Arabia, there are huge companies in Saudi Arabia, and I can tell you the farms I work with, some of the farms area is 600-700 square kilometers. It's the size of Qatar or Bahrain or places like this. So in themselves, they are towns, a complete town.
Oh, I agree.
Now, I want to tell you about the smaller. Now, on the other places where this is an investment, where people with a lot of money made those farms. But there are like a same area in Saudi Arabia, this is an agricultural place, and the south of Yemen. These are villages, and very hardly you will find everyone owns an acre or something like this. He cannot afford this, he cannot buy the machinery, he cannot make the cold store, and in the first place it doesn't apply to him, because these varieties which you store, the way we harvested, the way we planted, the way we handled it, it needs to be mechanized. Otherwise, you will never find enough people to plant and harvest. Those people, what they do, the government tells them make associations. So Al-Amin here from Saudi Arabia, they worked with me. I was a consultant on a job, and it was a 10,000 ton multi-purpose cold store, from freezing, frozen, chilled water, chillers, onion, potato, everything. Pre-coolers, and that was in the for 380 farmers. They signed on a piece of paper, made a foundation, an association, went to the government and told them that we need to protect ourselves against these big monsters. And they gave them how much, 100 million or 60 million? For the store only, but they gave them 30 million for the store without the other things. And they built a cold store which we designed for them. They bring their fruit and vegetables and take it to the market. Everyone they know. He has nothing to do with others. If the price is good, he will sell it. If the price is not good, he puts on his car and come to the cold store and keep it until another day so he can have a better price. So this is something we can do. But on small farmers, God help them. It's true. They will be lost.
Excuse me, I have a question here. Something which you really didn't touch upon was, you just made a light mention that they use some chemicals.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what are the impact of these chemicals? Okay, I'm sure it's got something to do with the extending the shelf life of the product itself. And then, is it going to have an impact on the consumer? Because there's always been long debates about these kind of usage of chemicals. I know you also mentioned something about waxing in between.
Yes.
And then de-waxing it is a process by itself, which is usually left to the consumer to do it, or maybe he attempts doing it. And then there was also some controversy in between regarding the ripening of especially fruits like bananas and certain other fruits. Could you explain some light?
Yes. First of all, this is sprout inhibitor and the chemicals which have been, I don't want to say are, which have been used to stop sprouting or to kill the germ. I would like always, whenever I give something, I give the full history and I don't only give the last one, so you have, in case you go to someone, you could defend. And therefore, I spoke honestly about the SO2 and any other sprout inhibitors, but they are no more used, and there are regulations in Europe and in Japan that if you have your product with sprout inhibitors sprayed on it, it will never be allowed to enter the country. Okay, so there are other new ways of killing the germ or stopping sprouting, which has nothing to do with the chemicals. It's a health hazard. We knew about the health hazard, as I said in the morning, how you will know that the food we ate today will not cause us any problem. I'm not scaring you because I ate probably too much today, so don't worry about this. But I'm saying that the food is nice and everything, even the one you cook at home. If we do not trust that the community takes full control from the researchers who has ethics, the legislation is proper, enforcing the laws and legislation is correct, without exceptions, and monitoring the operation of transporting the goods by proper documentation to make sure that everything is correct, we will be in trouble. So we have to trust those people. But it doesn't mean that you go blind. We have to know. Therefore, I mentioned about this. Now we use ozone. Most of the time, you know, and I think a lot of you know that fumigation is no more used by chemicals. Okay? They are using mostly ozone. It's even the water. They do it this way. They sterilize water by ozone. So this is one of the things. The other thing is the fumigation, which we used to do also for the dates mainly. This part of the world, they eat too much dates. And Saudi Arabia has probably 2-3 million trees of dates. And therefore, before we used to have special applications. I have a little with me, but I didn't put it on the slides. And we are no more using fumigation, using bromide. No more, okay? So because they said it is hazardous. And now we are doing it either by X-rays or we are doing it by nitrogen generators. We pull the oxygen out and we put nitrogen inside it. And there are equipment which we installed at this plant in the Sim. We brought nitrogen generators from Holland, Germany, and we installed it over there, and we killed the germ very easy. By the way, when I say the germ, and whoever, sometimes it may not be of interest to the majority, but some people who are interested, they may know about it, that when we talk about the germ, we don't only talk about the germ itself, but even the eggs. Because our experiments through the university researches we did in Saudi Arabia, and I have some of those things, whoever is interested, I can give it to him, that we found that within 1 week, we killed all the germs inside the dates. And because the dates, it can stay good to eat for 3 years if it is fumigated properly. And we were very happy that we killed the germs. We stopped after 1 week. 3 weeks later, we found that we have new germs. So we did the experiment through a small sample at the university, and we found that we killed the germ, but we did not kill the eggs of the germs. And you can, if we cannot see the germ, how we can see the egg? So we found that the eggs, they do not need more than 5 to 10% of what the germ needs from the oxygen. So they can stay alive regardless. And we have to extend the life of 2 weeks instead of 1 week fumigation to kill the eggs. And therefore this is a very sophisticated issue. But you are right, we have to be very careful, and we need to find ourselves together. And I would love to, and I welcome any suggestions from your side to learn more and enlarge my knowledge. I'd like to hear from you how we really can put some kind of a procedure which we can publish all of us together, that for the public, how they can identify a good product from a no good product. I am not saying editable or not. I'm saying good or not good. Both of them we can eat it. And they are still within the safety bracket of the international standards. But when I pay my money, I want to differentiate between buying from this guy at 3.5 dirham or this guy at 4 dirham. This guy at 4 dirham, maybe he worth that I have the half a dirham difference. We need ourselves to know why I was with Surrender. Yes, I was with Surrender, I don't want to say where, but visiting one of the friends and passing by a supermarket. And I told him, come. He was looking for me. I cannot understand why the cucumber and onion and potato in this place is half the price of other places here in Dubai. So you need to make sure that if you look at the product, you must differentiate that this product shelf life is about to finish. And that's why they are selling it cheap. Or this product is a fresh and good, so it makes the difference. This is what we want every one of us to know. But how we can, about cooked food which we ate today, how we can differentiate that? Oh, it smells very nice. Oh, taste is very good. This is all what we know. And they are the best to put tasting and colors on it to make it attractive. Okay? So we go to the next. Your time is off, but if you would like, I have probably a few more minutes to finish. Unless you are tired, then I can leave it for tomorrow. Other items? No one said yo or no, so yes or no. Okay. This is another other products we did not discuss. This is how you do with your livestock, the dairy products. Do you know the man in the middle when he was young with the 30s? I'm now 65, 66. That was in a Safi farm, which is the biggest integrated dairy farm on earth. At that time they had 25,000 milking cows, now they have 50,000 or 45,000, still the biggest on earth. And it had been recorded into Guinness Book. I did this job about 30 years ago or 25 years ago in the 80s. We had built a dairy cold room, 1 million liter size, because they milk 1 million liter at that time. They were milking 1 million liter a day. And we had also about 6 barbers for milking the cows. And those are 2 big tanks. And you could see the other one at the back. These are very well insulated, and the milk inside is at 1 degree centigrade. From there they go through the dairy process factory, where we have cheese and long life milk and lebanon and all kinds of things. And this is one of the things, the most important thing over here is milking the cows. Anything else after that, it can be delayed. A cow has to be milked, and there is no weekend. You cannot say, stop milking in the weekend, I have a vacation. You have to milk it during the weekend. Hook it to the cow, and immediately from the cow and goes out from the plate heat exchanger at 1 degree centigrade. Otherwise, you have a problem. If your refrigeration equipment at source is not good, what you do? You have to milk the cow and throw it immediately. We have a big wadi. In case the refrigeration equipment goes out of order, you just simply throw the milk, because you cannot keep it in the cow. It will go crazy. And the cow milks 40 to 50 liters a day. Some of them even exceed that. These are special cows. And, the normal cow at my house and your house, probably we will be having to get 10, 15 liters a day. But in those, 40, 45, 50 liters, 55 liters a day. So this is the important thing with the most important thing here, important is fumigation. We don't use fumigation here. We use sterilization and we use pasteurization in the dairy. Pasteurization, which we pasteurize the milk, which means that we raise the temperature of the containers and the equipment through which the milk goes to to make sure that we kill all the germs. Okay? When we go, that is pasteurization. Then sterilization, we have to sterilize the packages in which, and the containers in which we keep the milk. So we have to make sure also that those are sterilized properly. And Tetra Pak is one of the biggest names who does the packages on this one. We need also to mention something which I forgot, that you can never kill a germ or insect or virus by lowering the temperature, but you can kill it by increasing the temperature. Therefore, in Sweden and Siberia and Russia and probably in Norway and Britain and other places, when the temperature at winter becomes very low and you have a lot of snow, you find a desert of snow over there. You see nothing. The minute the spring comes, the water melts, the ground starts becoming green, which means the seeds or the germs, they were sleeping. And when they see the light, when they see the heat, they started growing. Therefore, there is no way you can kill the germs and the viruses by dropping the temperature down. But you can easily kill them by sterilization, raising the temperature up. Now, some of these viruses, you kill them at 90, at 80, at 70, at 100. Some of them maybe they need 200 degrees centigrade. That is a different issue. But you can kill by raising the temperature. One other interesting thing here. This is a courtesy from Al-Amin. Just I wanted to show you what we call the California gardens, or the canned food which we store at the room temperature. This is one of the what's that? Makkah Watani. Makkah. This is a supermarket like the one we saw today, but with a different shape. Before that, where's the compressors? You lost the compressor. I wanted to show you the axe which we spoke about today, but it is there. No. Maybe I will find it somewhere else. Okay. One of the other, last one, is the egg which you eat every day. This is the chicken egg. Have you ever thought, how do I know that this egg is better than the other one, or this is old, or this is new? The eggs we eat, yes? Rotated. Okay, what more? Rotated, but for what you rotate it? Because you see how strong it is fixed in place, because you have like these strings holding it in the middle, and also you have on the corner, you have an air gap. When the egg is old, the air gap becomes big, and you could see the gap. So some of them, I'm talking while it is at the store, so you hold it in your hand and look at it. But if you take it home and you break it, you will also see a lot of things inside, which I wrote over here. Whoever wants those things, by the way, we are willing to give those to anyone who gives us his email address, and I think we can email those things to anyone interested. This is open for all of you to take. But if we have time tomorrow, I can even show you how to examine the egg at home, and or at place. Then you make sure that you buy the egg, the fresh egg. Eggs also, like fruits and vegetables and meat, they are transported from their farms down to our place here, and they will also be subject to the misuse of the owner, of the storekeeper, of the driver of the refrigerated truck, the handling, everything. Because the best temperature to keep it is at 7 degrees centigrade. What if someone delivers it at 7 in a nice refrigerated truck, and I had seen those myself. I was watching one of the supermarkets, without saying where it is, the truck came with refrigerated truck with eggs. And they took They unloaded the truck because he wanted to go, and they kept the eggs outside the store until someone comes and pick it up and take it inside. And they left it for many hours in the heat outside. This is ridiculous. Then all what the people before had done went for nothing. Because they spoiled, they raise the temperature. The minute you raise the temperature, the gel inside has the same thing because it is the same story, has the same characteristics like the others. And we need to make sure, because we consume a lot of eggs. Eggs not only what we boil or fry, they enter in everything we eat. Like our lunch today and even sweets, they are full of eggs. So we need to make sure that we buy the right one. And I think you are. Thank you very much. I have too many to talk about, but ice cream hardening, and if anyone is interested, I can speak about it tomorrow, because you cannot make ice cream at home. It has to be hardened without being frozen. I have a couple of others, we leave it for tomorrow. It's now 5:20, and I think every one of you is tired, and thank you very much for your patience. Any questions, or we leave it for tomorrow? You want to go home, I'm sure. Same like me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abu Salah. It's much appreciated.
They brought me the eggs to demonstrate it, but we didn't have time. Yes.
Yeah. Just before we leave for today, I just want to share this book. It's called The Person in Charge Food Safety Handbook, and Richard Sprenger of Hygiene has been kind enough to give us 50 copies, which we have outside in the registration desk, and if you're interested, you can take a copy of it. Thank you, Richard. Much appreciated. Also, just quickly, tomorrow's schedule, we start at the program proper starts at 8:30, but we assemble at 8 o'clock for networking and coffee session. And we start at, like I said, 8:30, and we have a series of technical presentations, and these technical presentations are quite interesting. I don't know if you have had the chance to go through the agenda, but the first one, it's called Food Safety and Store Profitability. It's by Dan Force, and Javier Lazaro is going to be making that presentation. The second one is called Increasing Profitability Through Energy Efficiency and Intelligent Store, and that's going to be by Amitesh Singh of Emerson. The third presentation is called Controlling Food Loss in Post-Harvest System, and that's by Ruqayya Chamas of ITT. And after that, we are organizing a panel discussion involving the media, and I'll be moderating that session, and this is something new that we are trying out. The purpose of this is to basically ensure that the media understands food safety and refrigeration issues and does a better job at covering these two aspects, and I do ask your participation, and what you give us feedback is going to be very useful for us, so that we as journalists can do a better job at reporting on food safety issues. This is going to be followed by a presentation by Richard Sprenger, and he's going to be talking on person in charge. And thank you, Richard. I mean, he's that's a slot that I asked him to take up today, and he's been very kind to do that, almost at the last minute, a moment's notice. And then we go for lunch, and yes, we have a site visit, but we do our best to ensure that it's more focused and better organized. I do apologize for today's site visit, which owing to various factors did not shape up as we expected it would. Tomorrow, for the site visit, we'll have a brief, we'll have a debriefing session, and we'll take those of you who are interested in batches of 5 or 6, and that way you can listen to what is being said, and Mr. Khalid Babuza is going to be leading that, and the focus is on the behavior of fruits and vegetables, and and other food categories. So that I think should be interesting. And that takes us to our afternoon session, which for me is quite a highlight because we are having a focused discussion on refrigerated transportation. Mr. Abusa is going to be leading two discussions. He's going to be making two presentations, and that's going to be followed by a presentation by Prakash Krishnamurthy of Carrier Transicold, and it's called Cold Chain and Best Loading Practices, the Transportation Perspective. And with that, we have one more session, which is observation by a panel of experts, and by that I really mean all of you, and it's an opportunity for you to give us feedback on this seminar, and it really helps us to do a better job next time. And with that we close. And thank you so much for your time. Appreciate your presence here today. Thank you.